Okay, it's time to get on to cutting up the vegetables. We got our red onion here, we got green onions there, and I have chosen a fairly good size clove of garlic. And you know what we need to do here? Pie. And that didn't break apart very well, so we'll need to actually chop on it a little bit. Get it diced up. There we go. Come along pretty nice. Alright, so we're going to set that aside. The first thing I'm going to do, start cooking. And by the way, I might have not mentioned it, and I don't think I did. This is going to be cast iron country gravy. I'm going to make it in Grandma's old cast iron skillet. We got that warming up. Clang! Anyway, we got that warming up. It's okay to use cast iron to make something like country gravy and maybe a few other sauces, but you wouldn't want to put anything in there that would be tomato based, because that would start to make your seasoning deteriorate. So the country gravy will too, to a certain point, but it's not too bad. Nothing like something real acidy. You wouldn't want to use that. All right, let's get our onion cut up here. Okay, it just occurred to me that I didn't restart the camera, so I'm going to use all of this onion here. You didn't get to see me chop up that first little bit. Here we go. We'll finish this off. And some nice red Bermuda onion. There we go. Chop it up fairly small. That should be enough right there. That's a lot. Probably shouldn't use all of that, I guess. Alright, we're setting those aside, and of course the garlic aside. So now we're going to do some of this green onion. Unfortunately, the green onion that Winco was rather beat up looking, and I had to pick through to find the best I could. So this is rather poor green onion. Like I said, the whole situation was like that. I guess it's just the time of the year, but I think we'll get enough out of there. I think what I'll do is just basically half that, and we'll pick through that and make sure it's good. Yeah, well, there's a bad piece there. A little bit of bad parts to it, but not too bad. It's can kind of clean through it. So the onion, as I'd mentioned, is basically going to be just for garnish, but we're going to put it in the last thing. All right, there we go. Now we need a bowl, because we're going to set that aside as well. And now with all that said and done, we can get on to cutting the bacon up. And that's the first thing that's going to go in the cast iron, is the diced up bacon. Alright, time for some bacon. I've got some thick sliced. That might be enough right there. This is thick sliced maple bacon. Yeah, I think this is going to be enough bacon. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and put this bacon in the freezer, because I don't really have any, this stuff here, I don't really have any desire to eat it. And I don't know why I'm going to keep it, but I bought it, so I might as well save it for a while, and maybe I'll do one more batch of country sausage gravy before the winter's completely over with. Possibly. Alright, so my cast iron skillet is in the picture, it looks like. So I haven't put any oil in there at all. So, but this bacon, of course, is going to lose a lot of fat in there, so that will be, so it'll saute in there really nicely without adding anything. I will be adding butter at some point a little bit later on. But right now we're going to start sauteing that up, and now we're finally done with our cutting board. So I've got a wooden handled spoon that we're going to use in here for the time being. And eventually I'll be using my Kent Rollins mesquite wood spatula when I get the sausage in there. So we're going to cook this for not a whole big long time. Let's move the camera closer, like right there. I got my heat pretty low. We're going to go ahead and get it up to medium. So we're going to saute this up for a little while. And we don't want it to get all nice and hard and end up with bacon bit, pieces of bacon, rocks in other words. Alright, so we've only cooked the bacon for just a few minutes. You can see it's starting to brown. That means that it is slowly becoming bacon bit rocks, and we don't want that. So we want to keep our oil in there, our nice sausage oil, our bacon oil, because that's going to be the drippings that we're going to use to thicken this up. We might have to take some of it out. Right now I want to get all this bacon out of here and set it aside. That way we don't, as I said, it doesn't cook too much and we end up with bacon bit rocks. There we go. It does take a while to make this gravy. Other people have tried to make my particular gravy. Now we're going to put our excuse me. Oh, I felt that one coming on. Haven't even got the black pepper out yet. But we're going to put our onions in there. And we're going to dice those up. We're going to dice them up. They are diced up already. I'm a little tired today. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this today, but I really wanted to get it done. So now we're going to cook our onions for a little while till they become sort of transparent. Or another word for it is, what is the word for that? Oh, I don't know, but some of you cooks certainly didn't. I can't even remember. I guess I've been out of the cooking game a little bit too long. So we'll set that aside, and we'll need another bowl for those onions. That plate doesn't seem to be quite big enough. While those are sitting there doing their thing, let's turn the camera around and have a look at our sausage. So this is what I bought. It's just an Italian sweet sausage. I don't know what this tastes like at all, but that's what we're going to be putting in there. Onions are powerful, even for red Bermuda onions. They're starting to affect my eyes a little bit. So we're gonna just let these cook down for a little bit longer than the bacon bits. Alright, so caramelizing your onions, that's the word I was trying to think of before, and I just didn't quite pull that one out of my brain. But those are in good shape. They have soaked up an awful lot of the oil, the bacon fat. Now we need to get those out of there, so I need to find a spoon bigger than this tiny little thing in order to pull all those out. Like this big old thing, this is an actual restaurant spoon. I bought this. You can buy anything like that at restaurant supply places. Let's get all these onions out of here as much as we can, and we'll be ready for our sausage. There we go. We're not scraping too hard so as not to damage my pan. not to damage my seasoning. Alright, so we're going to set those aside, and now it's time for sausage. Let's get that in there. Plop. There we go. We should definitely take the paper off there. Alright, we're going to grab our Kent Rollins mesquite spatula, and we're going to start breaking this down. This is an awful lot of sausage. Once this is all done cooking, I'll decide if I'm going to pull some of it out and freeze it, perhaps for a future pizza or something. Unfortunately, it's gonna get a little bit chunky, so this is gonna take a while to cook this. There's really not much oil in there. Look at that. You see the lack of grease coming off that. Of course, it's got a long ways to go too. Anyway, we'll just sit here and just kind of try to break it up. Let it cook, and then break it up. And let it cook, and break it up. Okay, that is plenty cooked. I'm just about to taste that piece there. It's really hot. I'm going to take this off the burner. Move the camera back here. I'm going to pull this over here for the time being. And we'll sample taste that in just a moment. But now we need to get on to taking some of that out. That's going to be too much sausage, obviously. So we'll grab another bowl. Sorry about that big crash slam. Let's try this out. That's really, really tasty. I'm going to take just about half of that out, I think. Otherwise, this gravy is just going to be so thick. Alright. Looking pretty good. A little bit more. I think that might be enough. It took a long time. It took an awful lot of stabbing with the mesquite spatula to get that all broken up. That's how much I took out. There's not a whole lot of grease in there, so the next thing I need to do pardon me, excuse me, is I need to now do the butter. How much butter? So that's going to be about that much butter. I just winged it there. So now this will help out with the roux. So we're going to put that in there. And we're also going to now move our camera back here. There we go. And we're going to pour our bacon bits in there. Go ahead and get our onions in there. We need to get that butter melted. Our garlic. There we go. I've got our garlic in there. And man, we're getting a pile of dirty dishes like no other. But that's just the way it's going to be. So now I need flour. How much flour do I need? 4 tablespoons of flour. And you can always add a little bit more. And we need to get our chicken bouillon cube in there. And now we need to start mixing that around. The last thing I got to put in there is going to be the green onions, but that's going to be a while. And of course, we'll need the See, half and half, of course. So I can feel that it's already starting to tack up. You know what I need to do? I need to get my biscuits in the oven because they're going to be like 15 minutes. So I've got that all set. I've got the oven going. Let's pull out our thermometer. And I had forgotten that the oven needed to be set at 450 degrees, and that's just about where it's at. So let's get our biscuits in the oven. There we go, lovely biscuits. They didn't rise at all in the fridge. They're ready to go. So we're gonna have biscuit and some gravy for my lunch. And we might just have another biscuit and gravy for dinner later on today. Possibly. Have to see about that. So we're getting all those pieces and parts mixed around. The flour is in there. You can maybe see it's starting to stick. And this is when you will burn your roux. And 90% of the time when you burn a gravy like this, it's got roux in it, anything with roux, it's usually the roux that burns, it's the flour that burns. And then you get that burnt flavor, and that's no good. So this is kind of a critical time here. We want to cook that roux for a few minutes, as much as we can. I think we're still going to use that so I can scrape the bottom. Alright, we're getting our half and half ready. The temperature is pretty hot. It's red down there. The burner's red. Alright, I would say that roux has cooked just enough. I'm going to continue to use the spatula, even though it's wood, and some of you might be saying you can't put something like that into food like this because it's not cleanable, but it is. It's a mesquite wood. It's custom made to be completely washable, whether it's in your machine or by hand. Oh, why can I not open that up? Okay, there we go. Oh boy, half and half all over my counter here. I got a lot of cleanup to do after having this. And that's just a typical thing. So there we go, we're at that critical stage. Everything is in there. I can't think of anything that I left out. I should have enough flour in there. I'm only going to have so much pan. I don't want it to get too high up there, so here we go. Just pour some of it in right now. We can turn it up a little bit. Perhaps move the camera a little bit closer. If it gets hot enough, it'll shut off. The GoPro will, so you have to be careful. As you can see, it's already starting to come to a boil. That's what we want. It won't thicken up until the stuff is boiling. Now we just have to keep an eye on it. Of course, we need more already, I can see. And I'm just going to put the whole thing in there. And what I will do is I will save my carton. There we go. So we need to bring that to a boil and see where we're at. Should thicken up nicely. I don't know if this is the way the old timers used to make this, but that's kind of where, you know, gravies like this came to be, because, you know, back in the old days, the days of the Wild West, everybody had chickens and pigs and things like that. And at some point somebody just learned to use the drippings from their bacon and sausage and whatnot. Hamburger's good in here too. I didn't mention that, but I'm known I know a sous chef that actually puts hamburger in his country gravy, and it comes out really good. It gives it a whole nother flavor. But somebody just kind of came up with that idea of using the drippings, and of course you have flour, and you usually had a cow, so you had cream, and this is how gravy got, sausage gravy got invented. Well, it's just trying to use up everything you had. Back in those days, you just didn't throw away stuff. Okay. It's not thickening up yet, but it's still got to come up to temperature. So what I'll do with this container is, if I need to put more milk in it, and I probably will, I'll pour some milk in here and then shake it up so I get half and half on my counter. I hate that. So I get every bit of the half and half out. And this is going to be plenty creamy without having to put heavy cream in it. And I really need to start my timer for biscuits. Sorry about the squeaking shelf. Okay, there we go, the stopwatch timer. And we're starting to boil. There we go. So keeping the spatula is specifically designed to right along the bottom there to keep things from scorching. You can see how it's thickening up really nice. And it is. I'm definitely going to have to put maybe a quarter cup of milk in there. Yep. Just going to keep it going here. Oh, it's thickening nicely, yeah. Yep. I thought it would thicken up a little bit more than that. It was pretty sparse with the flour. What we'll do, I'm not going to turn my burner off. I'm going to move the camera back, move stuff out of the way, and we'll just let that sit. The cast iron's going to hold that heat. Yeah, it's thickened up even more since I moved it. So now let's get some 2% and drop some in here. All right, that thickened up nicely. Let's go back onto the stove, onto the burner. Immediately comes up to a boil again. Mix. All right. There we go. We're pouring some 2% in there. Filthy dirty counter. There we be. Now we'll bring that up to a boil and we should have a nice thick gravy. We really can't go any more than just that right there. Let's get you guys a little bit closer to the action. I have not tasted it yet because I'm too busy trying to keep the bottom from scorching. The cast iron is really thick, so it'll take some doing to scorch that. Not like a really thin pan will scorch really fast because it's thin, but the cast iron is protecting the food to a certain point. There we go. It's got to cook a little bit longer. Messy. Ah, I hate it. Sorry, I'm wearing squeaky shoes today. They're my Birkenstocks. So of course the last thing we're going to do is pour that. Okay, I got grease all over the other end of the counter and I hate it. Nothing I can do about it. It's too late. Okay, I am going to turn the burner off. Okay, unfortunately my camera shut off, so I think it's getting too hot, and the battery is kind of low. So I'm going to go. I think I'll park it in the fridge. The biscuits should be coming out here momentarily. Okay, quickly, the video is just about over with. The camera shut off. I don't know. I was right in the middle of a spiel about something. The gravy came out good. It tastes delicious. The thickness, it could be a little thicker, but I think it'll be just fine. So I'm gonna cover a couple of biscuits and have that for my lunch. I'm not gonna eat too much because it's still kind of late now, and I still have to get through dinner time. But the biscuits come out good, everything I do. So that's gonna be it for now. Comment down below if you've ever had such sausage, country gravy, and biscuits. Thanks for watching.